Süleyman. We are so happy to have you here. Welcome to ASMED.
This time I'm actually here. Dila, that was awesome. Thank you so much for participating. Awesome. She's great to work with. She's one of the great crew members here at ASMED. Anytime you come to visit the clinic, she'll usually be the one to greet you and to make sure you're well taken care of. So good job. Thank you. All right, let's go this way. If you remember the video I made about ASMED, I think it was almost a year ago that I accepted them as members as Hair Transplant Mentor doctors. And Dr. Erdogan and the whole team actually made a full video for me to share with you as if I was here, and I thought it was brilliant. So I thought it'd be kind of funny to do it again, but to actually be here. So let's go on down here. I just want to show you a little bit about the clinic that I think is really impressive. You've all seen the lobby before, but to be here in person, it's completely different than seeing it on video. For instance, in this area here, just yesterday, it was completely closed off because it was used for the World FUE Institute 5th meeting. It's a workshop where doctors from around the world come to different clinics or different organizations to learn more about surgery. It's where they share and they actually do surgery and they teach each other new techniques and new things to do for surgery. It's a really great setup. And if you remember from the old video, you know, there's a lot of really nice artwork in the clinic. And I'm a fan of artwork, but I'm usually not impressed when a clinic focuses on their artwork because I think it kind of distracts from their core purpose. But in some situations, including ASMED, not just ASMED, but some other clinics as well, it does make sense because it does show the aesthetic sense of the doctor that's the guiding force behind the clinic and the procedure that you'll be getting. And in this case, this is one of those things I think is really great. It's artwork based on a brain scan and an algorithm, an AI algorithm that's controlling this on a constant basis. It's pretty cool. And then the furniture and then the piano, they usually have someone playing this throughout the day. And just the way it's set up, it's really tasteful, which explains a lot about the aesthetic sense of Dr. Erdogan and the team here at ASMED. So I thought you'd like to see that. I definitely wanted to show it to you. So let's go to other parts of the clinic. Now we're on a different floor. This is where there are patient care rooms. Behind you we have hair washing stations and things like that. You've seen this all in the previous video, just letting you know where I am right now. This room here is the K photo room, where I think it's pretty impressive. You got all these lights here, and the way that these lights are set up, they're on a track system and they rotate. And they set the photos up into a position where all the photos are consistent from one to the next. Now, they do have measures in place to make it even more accurate, but they've been doing this kind of setup since well over 7 years ago. When I first went to their old clinic, they had this same kind of setup. And it's important because when you're dealing with photographs and you're trying to assess a clinic, you want the photos to be consistent, but you also want to make sure that there's no flash photography that's just so bright it's just distorting the image. You don't have that here. These are constant lights, and they help with a consistency on your imagery so that you know what you're looking at is as close to reality as possible. And this is the K photo room, where they've updated their photographic system well beyond what we saw with their already really great photography system that I just showed you. This lowers down, and if you look up inside the system, there are, I think it's 8 cameras. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's 6. Yeah, 6 cameras. I think that's it. And they take your photo from all angles at the same time. So the patient will sit here, and this entire shroud will lower around the patient, just coming down, and all these cameras at once have the same positioning, just like this chair is in roughly the same position for every patient. So you can't, there's no way to make it more consistent. And what that means is better information for you to make your decision on, is this the right clinic for you, because you know that the photos are taken the same way each and every time for every patient. No other clinic can say that as far as, with consistency like this place. A lot of great clinics have very consistent photos. That's one of the things I require, but this takes it to another level. So this is a great development, and it shows the dedication that ASMED has to not just the patient experience, but making sure that everything's documented as accurately as possible, and that's a big deal. So I think this is great. This room is where they have the K-bot, and this is the latest development at ASMED by Dr. Erdogan and the University of Istanbul, or is it University of Turkey? One or the other. But they came up with an algorithm over the past 6 years in this robotic system. They've got 2 of them here to properly analyze the donor area as well as the recipient area, so that they can map out not just the number of grafts that you need now, but also the total number of grafts that you have available in your donor area over the long term. And what's impressive about this is it really applies mathematics to the donor area, where like the numbers that are quoted are based on some very advanced science that is simply beyond anything else in the industry. Being in this industry for 20 years, I know that most clinics for years past and even still today will eyeball it. They're guessing based on their experience, which may be pretty accurate, but it's not consistent. With this, you've got consistency with your donor area planning, which means that you can plan for the long term and have a better idea of what is possible as you continue to lose more hair. And walking through here, you see these rooms with these different numbers. These are patient suites where they can stay overnight during their stay, and it's pretty much like a hotel. There are, I believe, 12 suites to take care of patients, and there's 12 because there will be patient overlap. They don't do 12 patients a day. They actually do a maximum of usually about 6 patients. Even though they have more surgical suites than 6, they have 10. Those other rooms are usually used for training, not for doing surgeries. So they usually have about 6 surgical suites that are being they're operational during the day, and then those patients can stay in these overnight stays. And because a lot of the patients will have 2-day surgeries and there's overlap with new patients coming in, they've got 12 suites just to make sure that there's no doubling up, that there's no one that's left without a room. And the last thing you want is to have surgery and not have a room to stay in. So there's no way that you're not going to have a room to stay in at ASMED. And we're fortunate enough to be able to come into one. This isn't really important, but you might want to see this. It's like almost like a hospital room, but with a much nicer bathroom. But yeah, open shower there, and then you come into here, you got proper surgical beds. Looks very comfy. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty nice. And very good windows, because I can't hear the traffic that's out here. Yeah. You got television on the wall, you got a little desk here, plug-ins. Basically anything you'd want, including the fact that there's room service, since they gotta feed you. And that comes from the great restaurant that's also downstairs. And that's about it. Like, I'm not gonna go on a huge tour of the building, because we've already done that before with Dr. Erdogan last year. Trust me, there's a lot to see in this place, but I don't wanna make this another 45-minute video. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that it was informative for you. If you have any questions, don't forget to contact ASMED. They got a great support staff. I actually spent a good hour talking to their consultants and support staff to get a better idea of how they do things. And I like the fact that they are really thorough with dealing with their patients. They really want to make sure that you have all the information you need to make the most informed decision possible. And what I like about this place is they are not a cookie cutter clinic. They're not out there to get your attention with stupid marketing and dancing staff members. They're a serious clinic, and they want to do the best job possible for you, because they understand that great results are what drives their existence. They know that their reputation is only as good as their last procedure. So they do try to do the best work they can to make you as happy as possible. So just remember, there's no guarantee with surgery. Every clinic can have problems, any surgery can have problems. Always consider surgery a last resort, but if you do make it to the other side, you take a medication and preventative measures that's working for you, and surgery turns out to be something that you think that is right for you, then you can consider great clinics like ASMED. So I'm out of here. We'll talk to you later.